Temurah Daf Chavav. I am here in Timbavati, a private game reserve in South Africa, trying to observe these elephants behind me and do the daf. Today, the Gemara has a very interesting question. If a person has three animals in front of him, one is chulin, one is a oila, and one is shlamim. And he says on the chulin, he says, I want this chulin to be instead of the shlamim and instead of the oila. So the Gemara says, whichever one he said first, that's the one that it's chal. By the way, these are real elephants. It's not a green screen. The other question is, what if he says this Temurah should be chal on the shlamim on condition that's also chal on the oila? Says the Gemara, we accept his words, and therefore we wait until there's a mum, we let it graze, and we sell it, and the money that they get from selling it goes to the oila and to shlamim, and the rest we'll have to do later on in the lodge. All right, so I'm back in the lodge and continuing with the sugya. Third question: if a person said Tmuras oila, Temurah shlamim, he said those words. According to Rameir, it has the same halacha as the first halacha. We take his first words, and that's what it is. So since now he said Tmuras oila, we ignore Temurah shlamim, and it's an oila. According to Rabbi Yossi, it depends. If he meant that he wants both of them to be kaddish, in fact, they're both kaddish. But if he meant that it should be an oila, and afterwards he regretted it and he wanted to become shlamim, then it has halacha of an oila. What's the halacha if a person says on a particular animal 50% should be carbon A and 50% should be carbon B? The Gemara goes through a whole series of karbanos and different outcomes. First one is, if a person says half should be Tmuras oila and half should be Temurah shlamim, according to Rabbi Meir, once again we go by his first lashon, and according to Rabbi Yossi, we go by what his kavanah was. So if he meant that it should be both, it's both, as we said earlier. If a person says chatzi oila chatzi chatos, so once again, according to Rabbi Meir, we take his first lashon, so it's a oila, and according to Rabbi Yossi, the animal must die. But if a person says chatzi chatos and chatzi oila, according to everybody, it has to die. If a person says chatzi oila and chatzi shlamim, according to Rameir, we go by the first lashon, so it's an oila. According to Rabbi Yossi, it's g'doisha ve'ena kreva. So what do? Basically, you have to let it graze. It befalls a mum, you sell it, and half the money goes to an oila, half the money goes to a shlam. If a person says chatzi oila and chatzi meiser, according to everybody, it's an oila. And if a person says chatzi Temurah and chatzi meiser, Abai had a suffix. On the one hand, when it comes to Temurah is chal on all animals. On the other hand, meiser has a special halacha where the ninth one it becomes kaddish and the 11th one becomes kaddish, and the Gemara remains b'teiku. What happens if a person had 50% of an animal and he was magdish it, and then he bought off his partner's 50% and he's magdish that other half? Says the Gemara that it could become Temurah and Temurah kayotzeba, but it's g'doisha ve'ena kreva. So the Gemara says we learn three halachas from here. Number one, that this dichui, you could push off something that has only kedushas damim, because this animal was never right for the mizbech since there was a partnership. So yesh dichu b'damim. Second of all, we learn bali chayim nitchim. Over here we're talking about an animal, and even though you rectified the problem later on, it's no good. You can't fix the problem. And third of all, we learn that dichu meikara, once it's dachui to begin with, before the whole thing happened, it was dachui because there was a partnership. It's nitchel la'olam. Have a wonderful day.